Good morning, Dr. Stanley Maposa here in my program Leadership Lessons with Dr. Stanley Maposa. Uh, this Christmas holiday, this Christmas festive season, Christmas and New Year, I would like to be addressing a subject called leadership lessons from the Christian story. Leadership lessons from the Christian story. I will just do one or two or three sessions around that. Let me begin by saying whether one considers the gospel story of Christmas as gospel or history or myth or tradition, whatever you consider that story to be, it is a compelling story about leadership lessons. There are a lot of leadership lessons that we can derive from the story of Christmas. A young peasant girl called Mary was not from the suburbs, was not from the rich society or social status, was chosen by God to fulfill an ancient prophecy and change the path of the entire world. Together with her fiancé, she had to make a long journey that ended up with the birth of baby Jesus in a dirty stable surrounded by animals as well as shepherds that were sent to that place by angels. And like all good stories, the Christmas story is rich in lessons. As familiar as it is to most of us, we can always approach it with a willingness to learn. Here are some of the central tenets of leadership that are wrapped around the Christmas story. The first lesson that I will mention as a leadership lesson from the Christmas story is humility. Number one is humility. All leaders need to be humble. Whether you're leading a small organization or a large multinational organization, or you're leading a one-man band of an organization, humility is very, very critical to leadership. And we find this coming out clearly in the Christmas story. Given the important assignment that was given to Mary as a leader in this particular case, it was only human to want to show off a little bit that I am the girl, I am chosen, maybe going around to fetch firewood with other girls, I am the chosen, or going around to fetch water saying I'm the chosen, I was chosen, showing up a little bit. Even if we don't say it aloud, we like to think that we have earned any such distinction on our own merit or on our own talent or on our own hard work. And good nature makes us more deserving than those that are around us. That's what any other person would have said if she was in the position that Mary was. She was going to say, it's because I'm talented, because I've been hardworking, or because I've been reading the Bible so much that God saw me, or I've got a good nature, I'm beautiful, I've got a good structure, or I'm more deserving than others. It means others are more sinful, or others are not praying as much as I am. That's what we were going to hear if Mary was one of the New Testament or the modern day ladies that we meet in our churches today. But in the contrary, listen to this. In the contrary, when Mary received the news that she was to be the mother of Christ, her response was so exceptional that it formed the basis of some of the hymns and the countless works of art that we've been singing about that say, oh, how my soul praises the Lord. She said, how my soul praises the Lord. And that statement has been put in a number of hymns and songs that we have been listening in the Christian cycles. So she responded in an exceptionally humble manner. Therefore, the lesson here is that as leaders, when we have a task before us of importance, responding with Mary's humility reorients our thinking, so it's not about us, but instead it is about playing a role in a bigger scope of things. It's not about you, it is about playing a role in a bigger scope of things. The willingness to give of ourselves in humility without reservations or self interest is what can set you apart as a leader, is what sets us apart as leaders. The second point that I'm going to raise here about Christmas and leadership, or the second lesson of leadership or on leadership about the Christmas story, is the lesson of giving. Giving is very, very important for leaders. Leaders must be in a position to give something, whether you give material things or you give skills or you give time, but giving is very, very important for leaders. Giving gifts is among the first associations people have with Christmas. And at the center of the Christmas story, because God gave his only son, Jesus. Ideally, Christmas reminds us of the joy of giving, but too often we approach it not from that spirit, but from a place of obligation. As leaders, we can counteract that by seeing the results of the things we're able to give. When someone thrives in a new role under our mentorship, or learns a new skill that we have helped them explore, or benefits from our generosity, we can fully appreciate being in a position to give. So, lesson number 2, uh, Christmas and the Christmas story itself is a major lesson for giving. The third lesson is sacrifice. It is willingness to make sacrifices for the benefit of others that is at the heart of leadership. Leadership is about sacrifice for the benefit of other people. And that sacrifice is ultimately what Christian story is about. The Christian story is about sacrifice ultimately. Superficial leaders often get superficial results, but those who give deeply of themselves can accomplish spectacular things. This Christmas, I hope that you think about humility, giving, and sacrifice. For effective leaders, these are the 3 attributes that are not optional but very, very essential. I'd like to thank you for listening to this leadership lesson with Dr. Stanley, and I will continue, especially around Christmas and the New Year, as well as the leadership lessons that we can derive from this particular season. This season is a beautiful season. Everybody is joyous, everybody is with family, everybody is having some fun, everybody is resting and relaxing. But I want to say leaders can learn something from this Christmas story. Christmas story is not only about all the other things that I've mentioned, which people think Christmas is all about, but there is so much that leaders can learn concerning Christmas. May God bless you and lift you up and challenge you and give you a position that is of influence as well as changing other people's lives as a leader in our society. May God bless you. Amen.